It's a difficult transition from wife to widow. It's full of mixed emotions and conflicting thoughts. I was so fortunate to have shared a deep love and great sex with one man, the same man, for 23 years. And then suddenly, he was gone. And after the initial shock and grief, I came to realize that aside from missing Barry, I missed having great sex. And I know I can't have Barry back, but surely there's more great sex to come. And then I feel guilty for feeling that way because I still felt married. I think a lot of widows go through that. I know I've talked to quite a few who've told me that they don't think they could ever have sex again, not without their husband. And like the books say, abstinence is perfectly normal, understandable, and okay. And personally, I strongly recommend it. Less competition. As I told you, the field is really limited. And you know, widow sex it's a lot more complicated than your typical cougar sex. Because besides the guilt thing that I just talked about, there's the widow's fear. What if they do it differently nowadays? What if it doesn't fit anyone else? Well, you know, think about it. You put on the same pair of shoes every day for 23 years, they take on the shape of your feet, right? Somebody else comes along, puts on those shoes, even if they're the same size, it feels weird, yeah? And if those shoes have been sitting in the closet for a year, they're probably all stiff and cracked. There might be spider webs inside. That's a lot to deal with. And it takes time to sort through these issues. But that's okay, because it can be time well spent. Widow sex tip number 1. Before you go looking for a new handyman, try the Home Depot method first. Do it yourself. Power tools optional. You know how the self-help gurus tell you, you must first love yourself before others can love you. This is what they're talking about. Masturbation, it's good for you. Give yourselves a hand. Scientific studies have shown that masturbation is good for your emotional and your physical health. And for widows in this holding pattern stage, it is a necessity. Think of it as spring training. Time to work on your conditioning, technique, mental game, and if you're a pillow talker, reprogramming. Because it is never polite to call out someone else's name during sex. But when you're a widow, it moves to a whole new level. Picture this. You're in the throes of passion with someone new, in the bed that you've shared with your husband for 20 years, and at a very critical moment, you shout out your late husband's name, your hand whacks the wall, your wedding portrait comes crashing down to the floor. Believe me, it totally ruins the moment. Worst case, your date has a heart attack and then you're left with another death to deal with.